We were laughing, Tony, because when I was watching the news, there was there's some big waves or something going on over there, and I'm like, what if we saw Tony sitting out there watching the competition? He's just like puffing away, and
You are deliberately forgetting who you really are. You are deliberately forgetting who you really are.
Yeah, dog.
yeah, dog,
Yeah, dog.
yeah,
Pack a
dog.
little bowl for this.
Speaking of dogs, I woke up on the dog bed this morning. I literally was laying with my dogs, and there was, of course I had my huge love sack couch. That took forever to get here. Wasn't laying on that. Wasn't in bed with my wife. Laying on the dog beds with my dogs. Sleeping.
Were you in the dog bed with your dogs because your wife did not want you in the bed, or just because you chose to fall asleep there?
She woke up. She's the one that woke me up, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
You fell
What are
asleep.
you doing out here? Yeah, I was like, I'm sleeping. Duh. Leave me alone.
Were you cuddling with the dogs and watching like Marley and Me, or like some kind of a dog
I
movie?
must have been doing something. Must have been doing something last night and dozed off. I mean, it was definitely alcohol induced. I told you I did, of course, like normal.
Well, yeah. The only thing to do, I guess, would be to open up box number 2 from Lolo. If we need more alcohol.
I'm already working
Box
on mine.
You
Number
already,
2.
I know. I got to get mine here. Let's open these things up. So this is box number 2.
Snoop Dogg.
To our like 2 listeners that listen,
You guys got?
Lolo got us these Christmas boxes, and every week or every bye-week or whatever we're on here, every bi-weekly, we open up a new Christmas box. So we're opening up box 2. This one has Snoop Dogg on it, is at least on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
mine has
Snoop
Snoop Dogg,
Dogg.
too.
Does yours have a Barnaby hair taped into it with the Barnaby hair circled and
Barnaby.
with a little arrow pointing to the Barnaby hair?
No,
That's funny, though.
that's something special just for you. Mine
Mine's
doesn't
just
have a
custom,
Barnaby.
huh?
Yep. See?
I'm still
Say you
waiting
don't get
to.
special treatment.
I'm waiting to open one of these boxes
Mine-
and find something gone.
Mine has a
because the
Sharpie,
ants have been
Tony,
getting
that
so-
has an arrow and it says head's pubic hair, and then it's taped on it. So you got the Barnaby, and I got this weird pubic hair.
I don't know, dude. Mine kind of looks like a pubic hair too. Now that you say that, it looks way more like a pubic hair than a Barnaby hair.
Oh,
This shit is black and curly, dude. Your dog does not have curly hair.
uh-oh. Mine,
That's funny.
I don't know if you guys are getting into it yet, but
Oh, I'm getting
I'm
into it.
seeing what I think is the Hendrix, maybe.
I see some
Not
airhead
to be
candies in
confused, I thought
here.
it said Hendrix at first, but
We got some fucking Mardi Gras beads. I'm gonna have to go ahead and rock those. Yeah.
this
Yep.
is crazy.
Put your beads on.
This is nuts.
Considering I am doing this topless, I think I earned them.
I got a little
baby.
juice. Did you get a little juice with yours? A little gin
A
and
little
juice,
pineapple
baby?
juice.
Snoop, now I see.
Little.
Did yours actually make it?
Head was trying to make it sound like Lolo wasn't prepared with this. She's like, he's probably like, oh, she doesn't know what's in there. And look how smart she is. She has gin and juice and has Snoop Dogg.
She's
on
a
here.
fucking bartender,
She had this
man.
all.
Hedrick's
she had
just
this
an
all
asshole.
planned out. Ed was trying to act like she just threw it all in here. Dude, that is
No,
so
I was just
cool.
saying out of doing the 5 boxes
Yeah.
that she packed up 2 months ago, I doubt she remembers
Yeah.
which exact one
Yeah.
is in,
So
I
are
don't
we
think
supposed
she
to?
necessarily knew, oh, that's Airheads and the gold chain,
Yeah.
the fake gold chains.
Well, how do you know? How do you know?
I mean,
maybe
I'm
she did.
guessing. I just don't know.
Maybe she did.
know, I don't know.
Always doubting everybody.
She doesn't know though that we have a candy problem. Where when we have this candy in front of us,
Well,
we have to eat it.
and I'm the worst about it because I know I'm going to be sitting here chewing on this
I know.
shit throughout the fucking.
I know.
I mean, it's all- So are we supposed to mix this into a cup and sip it throughout the show, or are we supposed to just shoot this and chase it with the pint? This is the only question. This is the one thing that maybe could have been included in the boxes is directions. Except for an idiot like me that does not know how to drink whiskey or gin.
I don't know. I don't know if you necessarily want to take shots of gin, but I might do it just cause.
I'm going to dump
But
mine
yeah,
in my soda
I'm guessing
water.
it would be supposed
I
to be
brought a
mixed.
cup full of soda water in because I had a feeling it was going to need to
Dude,
be
that would be
mixed with
good.
something. So I'm dumping mine in there.
Yeah, it's like a gin and tonic almost.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Okay. Okay, it comes in this pretty aggressive.
I mean, I'll take a sip with you guys if you want to drink it out of here.
This
I don't
bottle
care,
makes
but
me feel like I shouldn't shoot it, but I bet when you dump it out, it just looks like gin.
Gin is super,
It's like this little black,
it's got that
crazy
super
bottle. It's
dry kind of, you know, it definitely has a unique flavor.
Minty.
You know, it's never been one of my
Yeah,
favorites
kinda
out of
minty.
everything, but
Oh, that's smart to dump it in the glass first.
I'm just gonna take a little sip out of it. So let's do a cheers here for box number
Yeah,
dos.
All right, I'm gonna shoot this
the box
motherfucker.
number 2.
Here we go. Cheers, brother.
Glad to see you.
Here we go. Cheered up.
That's just
Yeah. Cheers, fuckers.
yeah, buddy.
Yeah, see, it's almost
Oh yeah.
it's almost like rubbing alcohol.
I feel like I just took a shot of cologne.
Yeah, that's
Like literally, it tasted like brute smells.
you just got one of those bottles of the black bottles of Dracard
God.
Noir. You just sprayed it in your mouth.
Pretty much,
Dracard
man.
Noir
That's-
from
that's exactly what I feel like I just
1993
drank.
or whatever that was. Oh my goodness! All right,
Man, I'm drunk.
that Lo knows how to do it.
That Lola knows how to party, dude. She knows how to party. That's for sure. All right.
That one got me a little bit.
Just like that, I got a buzz, man.
So I
That,
I'm looking.
that one might.
I'm
that one might need 2 Wonka whistles.
I'm looking at Tony right now, and it's nice because I don't see any smoking going on. Like he's drinking, but there's not even any cigarettes going on or anything.
I'm pretty sure there's plenty of smoking going on from what I heard. From what I found
What?
out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there he goes.
He just lit up the first one.
I wonder if he,
I might as well
wonder
just
if
go
he
ahead and just,
prepared-
Uh-oh.
Did you get the mayonnaise from the store already?
Dude, I think that we have talked about this, and I gotta say, from about 1 minute into our bet, I pretty much figured that I was just gonna have to call it and buy some plane tickets, because I don't think that I mean, it's a good thing we had that Fallout bet, because I don't think that I could eat the amount of mayonnaise possible for the cigarette. I mean, I quit counting it like probably fucking 2 or 3 packs. I was like, okay, I obviously can't eat this amount of mayonnaise physically. It's not even possible. Nor do I have that much money to donate to any charity. So I think
you were supposed to do a mayonnaise packet each cigarette? Is that what we had
yeah,
come up
wasn't it a mayonnaise
come up
packet
with?
each cigarette, right? Yeah, I'd have a whole jar of mayonnaise.
How
I'm gonna barf off the first spoonful, so I couldn't eat a jar if I wanted to. So again, I'm definitely working on my quitting of smoking. I'm slowing down. It's gonna be a thing. I need to quit, but I do think that I owe you guys some plane tickets, and I think it would actually be fun to have you guys out here, anyways. So you guys need to conglomerate on like a week or two over the next month or two. That might be cool to come out here if you're okay to travel. And you guys can come out, and we can even just cozy up in my house and get fucked up and go fly your drone over by my blowhole. It'll be cool.
We were laughing, Tony, because when I was watching the news, there was there's that some big waves or something going on over there, and I'm like, what if we saw
Yeah.
Tony sitting out there watching the
Just sitting there
competition?
smoking a
He's just
cigarette.
like puffing away, and the camera, you know.
Well,
pans
fucking
over and catches
Hedrick
him.
has been
Yeah.
fucking like private eye detective on me
know.
for the last he's like calling my work,
I
talking
know.
to my employees, hounding my girlfriend, hitting up everybody like, has Tony smoked? To the point where he has to remind them of who he is because he barely knows them. Hey, remember me? I'm Hedrick. Have you seen Tony smoking at all? I got people literally texting me going, hey, why is Hedrick asking if you're smoking? And they all sold me out. Everybody threw me under the fucking bus.
That's what happened.
In the beginning of it, Tasa looks at me and she says, I was talking to Hedrick, and he has a lot of hope for you. And I told him that he was full of shit and there's no way you're going to do this. Like, as I'm smoking a cigarette talking to her. Like, she knows me, man. She knows me. It's tough. I honestly
Kinda lied
did.
to us, though,
I
those
had
first
this.
couple days.
I had a mindset that I was going to quit. I did. I thought, all right, fuck it. I'm going to quit. I've done this before. My man, it did not work like that. It turned into, well, I haven't gone to sleep yet, so technically it still counts as the day before, so I'm still allowed to smoke until I go to sleep, right? And then I woke up and was like, man, I'm just going to smoke that little butt that's over there that's not finished. That doesn't count, right? Yeah, nah.
You didn't even
it
get rid
work.
of. You didn't even get rid of your cigarettes. You did, like, kept a cigarette around so you could just wake up in the morning and just go grab the cigarette.
It just
Like, at least
didn't
throw them
finish like
away
that.
and like give yourself a chance.
No, but I'm a fucking, I'm a savage, man. I'll grab them out of the ashtray and start lighting up the little butts and shit. It's like, there's at least 2 drags left on that cigarette. I'm going to light it and get it. Try not to burn my nose in the process.
Well, I just know the first morning when I woke up, whatever that day was, Head must have sent, I don't even know how many texts. I mean, we were in the 30s or 40s with every meme possible. You know,
I was still avoiding it, man. I was like, I can do this. Now I'm going to quit and I'm just not going to tell him about the first day or 2. But then it turned into the Tots giving me shit. And everything I'd say, we'd be talking. We'd be like, hey, man, you want to go to the grocery store? She'd be like, yeah, let's go to the grocery store. But by the way, you're a fucking liar. You're a fucking liar. Every single thing that I'd do, everything I'd say, she'd end it with, but you're a fucking liar. You better talk to Hedrick.
Yep. You were kind of leading us on. You're like, I'm doing it, boys. You didn't say
No. I never said I'm doing it. I just said we'll talk about it. You know, I'm working on it. Like I definitely was avoiding every bit of conversation with you guys about it. Like trying not to lie, but like trying not to give in and tell you that I was smoking.
Yeah, you definitely didn't say, hey, by the way, I was smoking since midnight on the competition night.
You guys are still texting me like, good job, man. Like I believe you can do. You're good, Tony. You can do it, man. I'm sitting there like smoking a cigarette, reading these texts like I'm a failure in life, man. I'm a failure. I failed my friends.
So what have we learned from all this? Is that it? Is that the end of the competition, or what have we learned?
That is definitely the end of the competition, and I'm definitely gonna buy you guys flights. But I am definitely still trying to quit smoking. Whereas Hedrick is awesome, and it looks like he has completely at this point quit his vape pen, which is awesome because you might as well just fucking smoke cigarettes.
Are you
if you're gonna
completely
smoke.
like you have? That's it.
Head hasn't smoked his vape pen at all, dude. He threw that shit away.
Wow.
Yeah, not one bit. I tossed
So
it.
that was what day?
I knew I was going to be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew, like, you know, if I'm 2 days in of no smoking and I see that thing laying around, like,
Yeah.
I don't want it even just by default. Lolo said that at night I used to sleep. Did I tell you this already? I don't know. That I would sleep with my vapor thing in my hand. And she would try to cuddle me. She would try to cuddle me and like hold my hand in the middle of the night, and I would push her hand away and grab my vapor thing when I was sleeping.
It's your binky, man.
Yeah, it's just how natural.
I do that with the pipe and the lighter. I literally fall asleep with it
Yeah.
almost every night in my hand, and Tots will yell, she'll go to cuddle
on
me
your
and say,
belly
okay,
or
you can put your
something.
hand around me, but let go of my fucking hand so I can smoke weed as I fall asleep. Oh man, she's gonna pass out in 10 minutes. She's the type that the second we go to bed, she'll even like dictate what we're watching and shit, and then like 5 minutes later she's a fucking sleep. It doesn't even matter what we put on. She's like, no, I don't want to watch that. And these days I just look at her, I'm like, you'll be asleep in 5 minutes, just go to sleep, fuck off. Like, let me
This'll
smoke my
help you
weed
fall asleep
and watch
because you won't be
Survivor.
interested.
I know I've been watching Survivor for 2 months now, but just let me have it, all right? I've only got 15 seasons left.
Tony, do you think is Survivor still on?
Yeah, but everything got postponed this last year because of COVID. But they're on season like
Tony, are you
40 or
serious?
41.
You might send in a tape.
Doc, I am dead serious. Will they have me on there? Probably not if they're smart. But I would love to go on that stupid show Survivor and at least, you know the stupid part about that is like I would love to be on that show and dream to be on it. And Toss is like, oh, maybe I'll put one in too. I was like, the fuck you will, bitch, because I know that they're gonna accept you on there, and then you're gonna get my dream spot in Survivor, and I'm gonna hate you.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Why would they choose the kind of chunky, overweight guy?
Right? Little cute dready girl.
Instead of
And
the
she
cute
says right
little
away
tiny
too, she's
dreadlock
like,
girl, yeah.
well, I can't really survive, so I just have to cozy up with somebody. I was like, fuck you, man. You're gonna go on there and cozy up next to some big old like 6'2" dude with muscles, and fuck you. You're not allowed to go on Survivor. Paul's gonna shoot me a Survivor video, not you.
Well, that's what I was waiting. Yeah, what's funny, you guys are gonna laugh, is I've actually made a Survivor audition video for somebody.
That's awesome.
That's
Did the guy get
that's
on?
funny
Have
that
you
you
really?
guys say that. So
You've already got experience with this.
I
I'm
had
one
this
step
guy
ahead.
hire me to make a actual Survivor audition video for him, and he didn't want to do something kind of the normal, so I kind of came up with an idea where I shot him on a green screen so I could put the background like the jungle or the desert or wherever I wanted. And we set up props and stuff, and I had him look off camera like he was talking to somebody like around a campfire, and then I cut actual footage of the show, the past seasons, where he was like talking to the people, back and forth, kind of explaining himself, like, about him, because that's what they want to know, like, about you, what you do, how old you are, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've looked into the tapes. Oh yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
we did it in a way where instead of just a talking head, he got to kind of like, explain himself, but talking to another one of the survivors, from the past seasons, and we kind of cut it together. And I mean, I don't know.
Did he get on the show?
I don't think so. You know what I mean?
What's his name?
His
tell
name's
you.
David. His name's David.
Never heard of a David on the show.
Yeah, no, it was, and this was within the last
You're gonna
couple
have to
years.
up your game when you come out here.
I guarantee you, he would have called me and said, I got that tape worked. You know what I mean? And so anyway, but
Right.
yeah, that's funny that you say that. I've actually made one.
It also
yeah.
wasn't of Tony though, too.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no drone shot of Tony smoking a cigarette right by the blowhole in San Diego and then throwing the cigarette butt down in the blowhole.
No, dog. No, that's how you get beat up out here. You don't do that.
He's like, don't
I'll
start
smoke a cigarette next to the blowhole and then crumple it out and put it in my pocket. Although I've got to say, when I'm watching that show Survivor, it's like at the end of it, I'm like, man, they just fucked up that beach. Like, I wonder if they're gonna come back and clean that shit up. I would guess so, but like they like light the whole fucking campsite on fire and shit. You're like, that's a hazard, man. You were in the Amazon jungle. What if you burn that shit down?
Yeah,
like the rest of the Amazon jungle that's on fire.
they're building it.
That's when Survivor comes to an end.
Tony did.
They're responsible for all the Amazon's fire.
Tony did Head tell you that Arizona yesterday was the first recreational marijuana day? Just opened up.
No, I didn't know that. Good for Arizona, of course. When I'm not living there.
I told Head it was funny, on the news at like 8:30 at night. They're like, 78 places the applications got accepted and blah blah blah. And of course on the news, like the line is wrapped around the building like Disneyland, and then when you get inside, you got the line inside. You know how Disneyland,
right.
You're like, oh man,
I don't go to Disneyland for a reason. Man.
you're like Space Mountain. The line's not really long, and then you get in there and there's like 10 lines within the lines. Inside,
right.
down on the levels,
and it's curving back and forth and back and forth.
You're standing in the line. You're like,
possible.
I only have to get around one more corner, and then you get to that corner and you look down and there's just endless turnstiles going. You're like, ah. But that's
then you
what,
see the kid with the fast pass.
That's what it was
the
the first night.
wheelchair.
So I told Head the next morning I was already out early. I was running around. Those places opened. I didn't even know those dispensaries opened. This place opened at like 7 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, man.
To maximize probably their, first day sales.
It's kind of like selling coffee, dude. It's for the wake and bake. It's like, no, we got to open at 7 a.m. They stop by Starbucks and they stop by us and get their pre-roll.
But that's what's kind of funny is that I guess what my question is will these places be like this 2 weeks from now or a month from now when all the hype wears off and it's not on the news and all? Like, how do these
not
places
a few
stay
months
in
from now
after all that?
They'll still stay busy though, man. I mean, when I go to Vegas and California, and honestly, even in the dispensary out here, although it's medical, there's always people in there.
Yeah.
Now is there a line out the door? Fuck no. It's like out here, there's a lack of commercial restaurants, I guess you can say out here. So when they open something new, like a Popeyes or something, oh my God, dude, there's a line for like 2 months long. There's a fucking line all the way out the door and down the street. No, it wasn't Popeyes. What was it they opened up recently?
Like Jersey Mike's or something.
It's like chicken and waffle place.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what the fucking name of it is.
Isn't it kind of like
because I don't wait in fucking lines, so I haven't been there. But since they've opened, there's been a fucking line. Give it like a month or 2, 3 months down the road, people will get their fix of it and it'll back off. There might be a little line, but not like what there was,
Yeah.
So there are places out here though that are like since it's a tourist town, there's places that constantly have a line. There's this place called Leonard's Bakery. They do it's called a malasada. Okay. And it's pretty much just like a fucking donut. It's like a fluffy ass donut that doesn't have a hole in it. Really good. Dude, they have always got a line out the door, around the street, around the block sometimes. I mean, literally hundreds of people deep, and everybody just sits there to eat these things. You can get a very similar product right down the fucking street at another bakery. But everybody wants Leonard's Bakery because they've been there forever. It's the place that they talk about. Oh, you go to Hawaii, you got to get a malasada from Leonard's Bakery, So it's I mean lines
Leonard's
happen,
Bakery,
dude.
we're available for ad reads. Just
Right.
hit us up. And,
I don't think they need
you know,
it, man.
we
I don't
love-
even think they
we love Hawaii,
advertise.
and I promise you, Tony does not throw his cigarette butts in the blowholes. I
Never.
promise you. That was a joke.
We'll have to shoot a TV commercial, Tony, where the blowhole's going up slow motion and Tony's out there with his like shirt unbuttoned and he's smoking and then he eats one of those donuts. He's like,
To join my
"Arr,"
hand.
and then their logo just comes up, right? And it says, is glorious as
See, you're
the
giving me
blowhole.
thoughts for my Survivor video, man. This is gonna be
Blowhole
good.
Masadas.
See, the ideas are already flowing out. I mean, that's $1 million idea for the.
Oh,
for the bakery.
man.
But anyway, I was just saying,
No.
Tony, like his head was just saying over there in San Diego. I was just curious, with that it being legal over there for a long time. It just seems like it's oversaturated at a certain point.
Yeah. I think the same thing will come in Arizona, and then certain places will survive in the end of it all.
Yeah.
You get used to it. When the Amsterdam, one of my favorite places, especially in my youth, I used to go over there when I was younger, and it was you just walk in. It's not like there's a line out the door. You walk in, you grab a menu, you go up to the counter, you order your shit, you sit down, they bring you your stuff. But it's something that they're used to, so it's not a big craze. I think in Arizona right now, and even if I was in Arizona, I'd be like, fuck yeah, going to buy some weed at the store. Hell yeah, it's been fucking 40 years and a couple felonies waiting. But you know what I mean? It'll die down. It couldn't stay like that. There's no way. And like you said too, it's going to oversaturate. People are going to get into the market and try to find ways into having those places that are legit. I've got a friend in Arizona that owns a couple of medicinal places, so now I'm actually curious to talk to him and see what it is that he's doing, because now obviously he's got to be out of business, right? There are no licenses to be given anymore.
Yeah,
That's not necessarily.
Yeah,
the-
I don't think so
that's
because
not
I think they
necessarily
can buy
the-
different stuff, right, Head, than a med. Like they have a different
You're
perks,
right. In California,
Generally,
it's
the
like
people
that.
that are medical, nothing is taxed the same.
That's right.
So generally, for recreational, there's a bunch of taxes that you pay through the state.
I remember even
whatever
going
the city
into
to state.
a place in California and seeing that there was 2 windows, and one was medicinal and one was recreational. And the line for recreational, there was like 5 or 6 people, and I keep seeing these motherfuckers walk right up to the medicinal line. And I'm like, wait, they got cheaper prices and a cheaper line. Like, what is happening over there?
Yeah,
and it's because they
yeah,
still
yeah.
have their medical card. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have to separate it because nobody's gonna pay the $300 a year if there's no.
No,
some kind
hell
of
no.
perks,
Well, and they keep talking about it going to wreck out here in Hawaii, and I'm like, motherfucker, I just paid my $150 for my card. It better not go wreck this year.
Yeah.
You're, like, giving
You gonna refund me? Fucking, you gonna prorate that shit and give me a refund?
How funny.
Did I tell you I watched Tremors with Ezra?
Oh, good for you, man. We've watched all the Tremors over here.
We I don't even know how it came to be. I think Head started me eating at Airheads, which is probably not proper etiquette for a podcast. But listen, this is what I'm saying.
knew it was gonna happen.
We hear you salivating.
This is Lo's problem. She's the one that got us these. I said it was a bad idea, but she knows I can't resist, and you can't resist. But I was pulling down and
She made me buy this expensive ass whiskey today just because it had a cute bottle. I was like, I'm perfectly fine getting the $18.99 Jameson that I always will swig down. No, this one's cute.
yeah, see,
Flowers in the
she's
bottle.
even enabling. But what I was gonna say, Head, is I pulled down out of my closet. I have that huge Tony. You still do DVDs, right, and Blu-rays and stuff?
Yeah, I do DVDs.
I hadn't pulled down my DVD collection. I had one of those old ones, those binders, that
I still got that shit too.
I think I got like a binder that held like a 200 thing, you know what I mean? Because we had so many, and so I'm flipping through these things. 99% of them are ripped, like from Hollywood Video or something,
Right.
Jessica was laughing because I used to go in and we'd have like the VIP membership at Hollywood Video, and I think you could check out 5 at a time. Unlimited, 5 movies at a time.
I know because I used to work there.
Couldn't you like do something like 4 or 5 or something? But
Yeah, it was.
but like
it was like 3 or 5 or
we
something
used
like
to
that.
just take them home and
I didn't work that
and we
long.
would check them out, and some of them we wouldn't even watch, and we would just rip them. You know what I mean? So we ended up with, I don't even know how many DVDs I have there, but I ran across Tremors, and I was like, oh, Tremors, and Ezra's like, well, what's Tremors? And I'm like, uh-oh. Like, you don't even know what
Yep.
you're about to get into, So we kept putting it off, and finally we had a second. Because obviously, like, Liam is way too young to be watching Tremors, you know what I mean? So And even Ezra, he's he's old enough. He doesn't really get scared. I mean, he watches Marvel movies
The
and stuff
second
like that.
they stop believing in Santa Claus.
Yeah,
it's good to
exactly.
go.
We talked about that, but I just mean, with the movies nowadays, the Marvel movies and stuff, they're pretty violent and extreme.
It's graphic, man. Yeah.
And so we put the
Well, in Tremors, there's a little bit of language. There's lots of like, what the hells? And
and it's
damn it.
scary, man. It's a fucking monster trying to eat you from under the ground. Like, I don't think a 2 or 3-year-old needs to see that.
This, I think, we've talked about on the podcast with some of the episodes that used to be on here. But we talked about, dude, PG-13. It's PG-13. They said fuck in it. In the PG-13. I think just once, and with all the gore and all that, and they had a ton of cussing and stuff. So what they used to get away with back then, definitely, kind of like we were saying today, is not the same, But he loved it. At the end of the day, I was trying to express to him that everything you're seeing in this, Tony, is real world, special effects. Real world, like, someone's hand is inside that thing, the graboid,
Yeah.
And so I was trying to explain it, no special effects, no, you want the kid was running down the wood planking of the floor next to the general store, and the wood planks are coming up,
Yeah.
And, I said, hey, someone down there had to rig something to drag across
To
there
make it do that.
to make him do that, and so he just, he was like, wow, that's so cool, and so at the end of the day, I think he gave it a 4.5 out of 5. So
Okay.
So he loved
That's
it.
cool.
Even the old school. I mean, he was
because it is
hooked in.
kind of like a cheesy movie. You know what I mean? It's a rad movie, but it's a little cheesy in a sense.
Quirky,
and it's quirky.
And he likes that stuff, so he got right into it.
Well,
You know what I mean?
They call them graboids, right?
Graboids.
Well,
Yeah,
and there's also
They
ass
grab you.
blasters and
They're like,
fucking.
graboids.
It's Chin, the guy that owns the general store. He's like, we gotta have a name for him. It's the guy from guy from Big Trouble in Little China. Is
good,
the guy,
man.
and so yeah, no, Ezra loved it.
It's
Because
funny you bring that up
Yeah.
because we just watched all of the Tremors recently. Tots, my girl, same thing. She had never seen them. I'm like, what do you mean you haven't seen Tremors? So we put on the first one, and after that, we literally found out. I think all of them. There's like 8 or 9 of these fucking things at this point.
Yeah, I haven't
are
watched
all
any
on
of them
Netflix
past
or
one.
Hulu. So we watched all of them, dude. It's so great, man. What a
I
horrible
don't
but
think I've
good
watched
series.
past 2. I think after the second one, I was like, all right.
Oh, watch them all, dude. It gets even better.
Yeah, they get super
It gets so
silly.
good. It goes to different countries and shit.
Is that not Reba
Yeah,
in Tremors?
yeah, Reba Mack, and
And with the first
I'm
one, I
watching the
think,
Reba
yeah.
Show, remember?
that's
Yeah, I think
I'm
she's only in the
middle of
first one.
Rewatching all the Reba reruns.
But the dude that's with Reba, what's that guy's name in the movie? It doesn't fucking matter. That guy's in all of them.
Yeah,
ends
yeah,
up kind of being like the main
You're
dude that's
talking
in
about
every
Reba's
single one of
Reba's
them.
husband.
Reba's
that guy.
husband, yeah, the gun
he's in all of
collector.
them. Yeah, he kind of took over
Yeah.
the Kevin Bacon role. He kind of took over the main.
Yeah.
they're like, we need someone to carry the
Exactly.
series. And
Well,
know
they
what?
couldn't get Kevin Bacon back,
We
so
don't need to pay.
You know who?
Yeah.
You know
we
he.
can pay this guy $10,000 versus $10 million.
right.
Tony, he was the dad, I think, in that Family Matters or whatever. What's not Facts a Lot? What's the one with Michael Keaton? Or I mean, with
Facts a lot. Oh no, I know what you're
like,
talking about.
with Michael J.
With,
Fox.
with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, whatever it was called.
can't think
he
of the
was
name
the
of that
dad
show
in
either,
that.
but-
Yeah, that was his big,
Yeah.
his big
Family
stardom.
Ties. I don't know. Yeah, it
Ties.
definitely wasn't Family
Ties.
Matters.
I think you're right.
Like,
Family Ties. You're absolutely
How
right.
funny.
that?
good old Michael J. Fox,
He was
man.
Urkel's
like-
dad? Fucking Urkel.
So,
Fucking Urkel, man.
so back to the smoking thing. So when do you guys think you want to come out?
Listen, we're not going.
Are
back
we
gonna
gonna be able to
smoking
get you to
thing, and we're
travel?
I'm not accepting a plane ticket.
Are
out
we
there
gonna? Well,
anywhere, so.
I'm quitting still, man. By the time
I
I'll tell
know.
you what, by the time you get here, I will
Nobody
have
wants your
quit on
plane
my own
tickets.
terms.
Can we just get you to quit? Is there some way?
Yeah,
that we can
no,
kind
I'm
of
working
just
on
get
quitting
you to do that
regardless,
and
but-
you not,
but I wanna
and
get you
not
guys out
pay
here.
for the plane tickets.
Come out here anyways. Let me buy you. I'm lonely. Come hang out with me.
I want to come out either way, but
Can we get
plane
Paul to travel? I guess that is the question.
Not anytime soon. I'm not going to the airport.
No. What about like middle of the year, end of the year?
Yeah, I think. I'm
So
hopeful
If,
that everybody
if we got
gets
you guys
these
some
dumb shots
tickets
of
for
me.
like August or September or something like that, maybe you'd actually come out.
I'll come out tomorrow, fool.
If I like talked ahead and we
Right.
worked out something and I bought you plane tickets for August or September, would you make it happen or
I'm not accepting that.
can't promise right now?
I'm not accepting those tickets.
Why? They're like
Because that's not your job.
$150
That's
right
not
now.
your job.
It's cheaper than me making all the fucking
That's not your
donations
job.
I'd have to
That's
make. It's probably cheaper than the
And
amount
we're
of
buying all the
mayonnaise I'd have to
mayonnaise
buy.
He's gonna have to go to Costco,
I'm getting out of
get a
this
Costco
easy, Paul.
membership. So you
And I might
the
even be able to
large
talk you
packet
into
of
making me
mayonnaise.
a fucking Survivor video. I'm getting a deal here.
That would
dog.
be now that might
We
be maybe if I bring the whole family out or something, maybe I would accept maybe a partial thing for making a video or something. We could work
you
that
could
out,
bring the whole family, or
You
we
know?
could just do like a 1 or 2 day thing where you literally come out and just quarantine with me and Hedrick, and we slip you some mushrooms and do this extreme cool hike out to the end of the island, and you bring your drone and we fucking
I was
hang
telling
out.
who was I talking? Oh, Kyle, my brother-in-law. Was texting the other day, and he was like, "Let's do a trip after all this is done to Vietnam." You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
Vietnam. I'm like, you do not want to take a 5-year-old to Vietnam. With
Oh,
you. I'm like,
yeah,
that
not a
kid would
5-year-old.
just, and
What's he want to do?
I've
out
heard
there?
Vietnam's
he-
actually really cool to go to.
yeah, he's
But
been.
it is definitely
he's been a few times.
it's-
He loves it. Yeah.
You want to travel. You want to.
Yes.
I don't know. You want to be a little more extreme. You want to be able to be out in the rough and in the trees
know.
and stuff like that.
But
and-
why I brought it up is I was just kind of saying after COVID and everything, like, dude, the problem with it is I can't just run away. We've been cooped up in this house with these kids and stuff. That would be so unfair if I'm like, hey guys, I forgot to tell you, in a couple weeks from now, I'm going to Hawaii.
But would it be if it was like, hey man, I have an
imagine
opportunity to like, and go and hang out with my brother
just say-
and
I
like
forgot to
say I
mention.
gotta
help
go
him
to
with some
work trip.
stuff.
I forgot to
and
mention.
I think it would be
I'm
totally
headed to
fair.
Hawaii in 2 weeks.
It's funny because we actually had a similar conversation
Yeah.
recently. Me and Head were talking like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I was saying, man, like, I would just like to get the fuck out of here and just go, like, I was trying to talk him into, like, meet me in Utah or some shit. Just go camping. Just go out there, camp for, like, a few days or something like that. Hang out, just a couple of the boys. And you can tell that, like, Lolo's like, the fuck you are? Like, but then Tots, my girl, was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, go hang out with Head for 2 or 3 days, whatever. And Lolo started realizing, like, wait, so that would mean that you wouldn't be here bugging the shit out of me being an asshole for 2 or 3 days. So, I don't know. Maybe your wife would look at it and be like, please get the fuck out
No,
of here for 2 days.
it's just the kids.
Or does
too,
your
you know
wife
what I mean?
actually like you?
It's more to the fact of just fair to the kids. Like, dude, everything just kind of once March kind of rolled around, like we had a bunch of plans planned for the for the kids to go on vacation for the birthday parties and stuff. And we had to cancel all that
Well,
stuff.
Just tell the kids that Uncle
So-
Hedrick's lost his mind and you
Well,
have to go to
they
Hawaii
already know
and hang
that.
out with him
They're-
for a
I'm-
couple days.
I think they already,
exactly. I mean, that's a legit thing.
I think they already know.
And
Uncle
his
Hed's
crazy
lost
friend
his mind.
Tony needs a Survivor video and has like
Yeah.
been begging me to come out and shoot in the Survivor video so his dream can come true. It's like, well, make it like a Make-A-Wish, like I'm special.
Hey, so I want to talk about this Head's recommendation because the first thing I have to say is I never heard it.
Why?
That's the first thing because it wasn't.
Because you don't have Spotify.
It wasn't.
huh?
Is it
Mr.
only on
HBO.
Spotify?
I found it on Spotify. Yeah.
It's not on.
You didn't.
Apple
you weren't
Music.
able to even listen to it.
It's not on Apple. It's not on anything. That's why I made a note here. Hold on a second. I'll put these in the show notes. I'll put these images, and I'll go ahead and send them to you guys right now via Skype. But yeah, there is it's not on Apple Music. Whatever that album is that you said the Detroit something.
Did you go and listen to it on YouTube?
I have no clue. I couldn't find it, so I didn't ever listen
What do you
to
mean
it.
you have no clue?
I know
Did
I
you
don't have
listen to
any
it
of the
on
movie
YouTube or
things you
not?
have, but I do have Spotify, so I was able to find it.
Tony's like, don't worry, I got this one.
I
I'll make fun
finally
of it
have
for you."
something.
So I'll let Tony start off as if he wants to talk about it. But here, look at what I did is I took a picture here for you. Look at this. It's not any of these,
But
right?
before you took pictures of stuff, why not just jump on YouTube and type in the name of the album, and then listen to it on YouTube?
Which so what?
You know that.
Which-
you know
so
the
which
wonderful
one
world
is
of
it out of
YouTube
these?
exists.
These are the only ones that are under the albums on there.
These are good
They are.
albums. The one with the two with him cuddling with the guy. That's a really
Is that
good
one good?
That's Mansion's
Oh,
album.
I did bookmark
Okay.
that.
B-side
Can I
album.
intervene right there
Uh-oh.
and
Yeah.
say that I am always so open to Hedrick's suggestions because the dude has such an open mind and wide variety of music and has opened me up to admitting some of my guilty pleasures. This Mike Posner guy sucks. I hated him. I tried, and it was even like my girl Tots is very, very she's in tune with music. She likes music. She listens to a lot of music. She's all over the place with it. She knows the people. She knows the background. She knows the history. And she just was like fighting me to turn this shit off. And I tried in a
Funny
couple
thing
ways
is
now.
nobody asked you to listen to any music.
Well, I know that's what I was gonna
There's
say.
no
Now hold
music
on.
that you
Let me
listen
back
to.
up. I went into the hold on. I just wanted to make sure you knew his music sucked. But I did listen to some of the poetry. I was born in Detroit on what is it? A cold
Very,
day. Very cold day. And and some of the poetry was really cool. I could see how it kind of touched you. I could see where you kind of get really in tune with it, especially if you're getting really wasted and fucked up and listening to it too. I can see where you can relate with the guy. His poetry was cool, and I think the fact that these things were recorded and or written live before shows and stuff, I think that's pretty impressive to show that he can just kind of write like that and write some pretty in-depth shit like that.
So
But
basically what you're saying is it's awesome.
I thought the poetry stuff that you told us to listen to was really cool. I thought his music sucked a fat dick. And I even too, like, again, I couldn't get Tots. I had to like separate myself from Tots to even listen to it because she wouldn't let me listen to the poetry either because she's like, this guy sounds like a pussy. Like, why is he getting so in depth with this shit? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, and then we put on the music and right away she was like, yeah, I hate this fucking guy. I can't even listen to his poetry anyways. So Tots wasn't having it, but I thought his poetry was interesting, and I think it's cool that he comes up with it on a whim like that so quickly. That's impressive to me to be able to write that much stuff just like that, you know.
I haven't listened to much of his other stuff, but that one where he takes the trip is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like, and I liked it, Head, because, you know, I think, and maybe, Head, this is where you and I, we tend to let, and I just don't know Tony enough to classify him and judge him like I do my own brother, but what I was going to say is I think Head and I, we allow the things that are going on in our life, we try to match them with like music and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
I can see that.
we kind of like, we just, for some reason, I think our brain is wired that way. You know what I mean? And so I think when something comes along and it kind of helps us during a time, we don't just like the music. We kind of attach a personal thing to
Honestly,
it, you know? Which
I
is
have
why
a
we're so
tendency to do that
passionate,
too.
Tony, about when we
And
give a
I can
recommendation,
see-
right? That's
I
why
can
we're
see
so
why Hedrick
passionate.
likes this so much.
Yeah.
Because I do think the dude's weird, and I do think the dude takes a certain ear, and I just think that Hedrick was in some way or another able to connect with this guy's words and be like, this guy's the shit. Because I think he's probably a cool dude, and I think his poetry was cool, but his music takes a certain ear, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's some like party teeny bopper music. I mean, I would see a 19-year-old girl at a rave dancing around to this. And being like, fuck yeah.
And that's
like,
why I
oh
said
my
it.
God,
That's why
like,
I
this
kind of
guy's so
said last
cute.
week it was kind of boy
I don't
band. Like
know.
when I said kind of he was kind of like a boy band
Yeah.
guy. I wasn't even meaning like in sync. I just mean I kind of got that. But then again,
It did seem like if one
Yeah.
guy from NSYNC went out, maybe not that Justin Timberlake dude, but another guy from NSYNC went out and
Joey
like,
Fatone,
tried
yeah.
to make some shit happen, like this would be him, you know, but with some cool poetry to back it up. So
I think that's why I
Andrew,
like
I just
the.
see you right there, like fuck you, man. Like I love this guy.
I think that's why I liked the album Head where he walked across the country, because he was kind of like, I'm done with that part, right? And now I want to try something new. And I think that's just what I appreciated about that, was just like, hey, he's going to try something new. You know, there's going to be haters. He understands that, but he's going to keep walking, right?
Exactly. Keep walking.
See, he's doing something right. He's got 2 out of 3 of us convinced. You know what I mean? Like,
why do you think his poetry and
I
his
just wish
words
if
are?
Tony was gonna start listening to the music, that he wouldn't have like listened to like just like the #1 song on Spotify, which
No,
naturally
I
it's
listened
easy
to
to
the-
do, like
I listened
or
to the
just
top
pick an
3
album.
songs, and then
Listen.
I actually went to the oldest
Listen.
album and listened to a few songs from the oldest
Listen.
album, and they all suck too.
listen. the songs that you're listening to on the top 3, for one, are like DJ remixes. Because yes, man, his song that he got famous for, that I Took a Pill in Ibiza song, was a very big pop single.
Yes.
And there was club remixes. There was, you know what I mean, movie
And that
remixes.
was one that I listened to.
What's that?
That was one that I listened to. It was off of his album,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So a lot of that stuff is on there, and I'll be honest with you, I was never a fan of this guy. It's
Okay.
once he stopped doing the pop stuff and started walking across the country was the first time I even recognized the guy. And I was like, oh, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's giving up going on tour and
Well, you can see that too. It looks like he definitely he takes a change. I mean, even seeing him visually, it seems like he turns more from like a club kid into almost kind of like a little bit more grungy and bearded and shit like that. So he obviously took a change in life, obviously with his
music. He said he
music
wouldn't
too.
shave until he made it across or something like that. So he grew his beard out.
That makes sense.
Went on the street, had someone follow him in a camper, made it all the way across. Met a bunch of people, would play free shows. You know, so he did like the whole pop thing, but then he did the walk, and then he would announce on his Instagram like, "Hey, I'm in blah 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 park in this town. Come down, I'm gonna play some songs." And he would sit out there with an acoustic guitar and play some of these songs that he was doing in arenas the year before to the girls that you're talking about, the 18-year-old girls at the rave, or dancing around like, oh my god, he's playing them in the park for free, you know what I mean, and doing weird poetry stuff. And I think that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Somebody that's like, you can do anything you want, and you can go for it.
I don't think I disagree with you. I definitely think that, and again, the guy's poetry is really cool. You know what I mean? He even seems like he's probably a pretty cool individual. And maybe I shouldn't have gone the step further and tried to listen to some of his music. I should have just stuck to the poetry like you had asked us to listen to. But in
sending you a bunch of suggestions.
And listening to his music sucked. And then looking at everybody that falls in line with him too, it's like when you pull up Mike Posner, it's like the next guy that comes up is Nick Jonas. So like, I mean, it does throw it into a category.
So listen,
I like that Nick Jonas though.
Listen,
too,
Tony.
I think that guy's pretty.
If anybody, once they listen to the last episode, then they listen to this episode, Tony. I was you last week, and Head was arguing with me about the Teeny Bopper thing, and I was saying the exact same thing, where he's associated with these younger, and he was saying no, he's not. No, and I think I even pulled up something and named some names.
It's hard for me to unassociate that too. I'm like, oh, so see, you are kind of affiliated or associated with the Jonas Brothers.
What
like,
Head,
I'm already kind of out. It's just not my type of shit.
Head, the record you asked us to listen to.
Sorry, he sold millions of albums, and it happens to be young kids
and the Jonas Brothers too. Like they sold millions and millions of albums, and I think the Jonas Brothers are probably some really nice guys too.
Hang out with that guy
I just don't like their music. Like it's the same thing that makes a little 14-year-old girl jittery inside just doesn't seem to do it for me for some reason. Like I guess I'm getting old.
But maybe you should listen to like so he has like that stuff that he does under his name, but then he has that Mansions project that I was just talking about, where him and that dude, they both have green hair and they're cuddling on the album cover, and it's really kind of weird. But the other guy's kind of like a famous rapper dude. But they have a whole album where they went and took a trip to a weird cabin, and they wrote and recorded an album in a couple weeks and released it, and that's this weird Mansions album.
Alone in the Mansion?
Like something like that might have been like a little bit more up your alley. You know what I mean? You could have maybe still said, yeah, I don't care for this, but at least might not have been like so like, I don't know, club hits.
Well, and I'll give you that. Maybe I didn't listen to enough of his stuff. I did in my defense. Like I literally, and I think I even sent you a video of Tots because I was trying to continuously listen to new songs and give it a very, very, very fair shot. And I even told Tots, like I told Head I would give this a fair shot. Like, please let me listen to a few more songs.
When you sent me that video of her face, I wanted to like smack her.
She wasn't having it, man.
Women,
she like right away. She's like, no.
That, like, this like, this is. So
she even made me
lame
cut off the
face.
poetry. Like, we were in like song or I guess track number 2 of the poetry, and she's like, just giving me this look like, do I really have to sit here and listen to this? So I was like, okay, I'll go listen to this on my own.
Oh, no.
She wasn't having it.
Tony, what what's the age difference between you and her? Like you're saying do you guys
10
typically
years.
like the same type of music?
No, honestly, me and her are like fucking yin and yang, man. I mean,
Yeah.
we're very we're not your traditional couple. I don't think that if you took her on one page and me on another page and we're like, all right, I'm going to look at these two, you wouldn't put us together and say compatible couple. But we click with each other, and it turns out that a lot of shit that I like, she might even pick on me about, and be like, that's some stupid old dude shit. And then like she'll listen to it, and next thing you know, I'll catch her listening to some shit that I was listening to, and she's like, okay, I actually like this.
Yeah, and
same thing with her.
No, I
you know
was
what
just
mean?
asking more of the fact, like, I mean, that's Jessica, my wife. I mean, once again, same thing. Like, Head's got me listening to like that Dance Gavin Dance. I mean, that's. I wake up some mornings, it's like 7:30. I get in my little, cubicle room area here where I'm getting ready to start editing. I put that screaming's going on. It's like 8 in the morning. I start with that to get going for the day, and she just wants to have nothing to do with that stuff.
That would piss my girl off. Yeah, no doubt about it. Toss would kill me.
And so, and so that's what's funny. I was just kind of asking, but then again, if I put some like, old Creedence on, or, I was playing her the other day, the band, that song Await, that song's super cool. Like,
Yeah.
That old 70s stuff. She.
I can be safe with anything like that. Anything 60s, 70s,
Well, you're
rock,
like me,
something like that. I can put that on and get away with. Anything hip hop, rap to some degree, I could probably put on top to get along with. When it comes to any type of new age rock, it can be hit or miss with her.
But does she
that's
listen to
for
like
damn sure.
would she know right now like who's the cool like hip hop like stuff, like would she be like, because I mean I'm not, and I know Jessica's not, but I think Lola would know. I think Lo would know. I think that maybe is why Head knows sometimes. I feel
Tots would know. Not to
I
put
bet
them
Lola
on.
would know more of the corny shit, and Tots would know more of the underground shit.
Yeah, well, because Tots keeps up with a lot of that. So it's like hip hop shit that she loves. Like she keeps up with those dudes. So if they're doing something like a new mixtape, something like that, like she knows about it. She knows who they're doing it with. She always shocks me.
Rap on the radio.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and that's where I thought maybe you get some of that stuff from her. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, does that rub off onto you, or are you the one that finds all this stuff?
Well, like the Mike Posner, she actually did. I think Lola liked the Mike Posner corny, cheesy albums when
Tony,
she
I knew
was
it.
younger.
Yeah.
But I don't think she ever really spoke up about it until I started liking that album where he walked across the
It was her one time to be like, "Oh yeah, Mike Posner, duh. Don't you know about him, Hedrick?"
She's like, "Oh, I like that guy."
Yeah.
So of course it gave me a little bit more like, okay, well maybe I'll give it a chance.
Maybe I'm onto
whatever,
something here. Yeah.
So I liked the Walking album, and then she was like, and then we liked that Black Bear guy. So I liked the Mansions album, which is his weird little side project. And then, of course, naturally, I'm like, oh, what are all these other albums? I admit a lot of those other poppy albums, it sold, once again, 20, 30 million copies.
Dude, there was billion. One of those songs got listened to over 1 billion times. Like, he's popular. I'll give him he did something right.
I'm just talking about like selling albums, and it was very successful. I think some of those songs he wrote when he was in college and recorded when he was going to Duke University. So it's like, this dude's smart. He fucking does the weird poetry stuff. I don't know. He's weird. Does the opposite of what you should probably do in the eyes of famous people, I would say. And that's exciting.
Well, that's what I think turned me on about that Walking album, was just because you could tell he had all that, and he was trying to do something different because he wasn't satisfied with who he had become, and so he was kind of saying, "Listen, I'm willing to, like you said, Tony, put the 1 billion views aside to try to better myself." I think is why I liked it.
So the dude now, he walked across the country or whatever, and now he just he just climbed to the summit of K2 Mountain. I don't even know where that's at. But he's super into like mountaineering stuff now. So he's basically found some mountaineering famous person, and gotten the guy to take him under his wing. So he's teaching him everything and stuff. Dude's probably gonna do Everest or something just for fun.
I was gonna say he did K2, but not Everest, huh? What a pussy. I'm joking, dude.
He
Like,
talks all the time. Well, he talks.
I can't
about,
climb the hill behind my house.
About possibly doing Everest or whatever. You know what I mean? He's like,
Right.
maybe I'll do it. I don't know, or something like that. But it's like it seems like that's kind of where. Seems like that's where it's going. You know what I mean? He's gonna.
He's like, well,
got
my
something to
music
prove,
really
you know?
sucks, so I better start a career in extreme sports.
Oh, fuck you.
I can
I've
write
listened to
poetry
some
while I
songs,
climb
Tones.
mountains, and people will buy that shit.
Tony, do you remember? Do you remember the guy Big Sean? That little rap song that we always used to listen to.
Yeah. I
in
remember
Vegas?
that guy.
You like that guy? This guy is his best friend.
Okay.
So they grew up together, or were kind of in the game together before they were both famous. And I guess, like, he introduced this guy to Kanye and stuff like that. I don't know. They have a bunch of ties together. They're buddies, in the rap game.
Big Sean didn't seem like such a pussy.
Is Big Sean the
he's
one
black
head
and
that's in
he's
the
very tough.
that's in his video where he walk across Ohio or whatever, and the guy comes out and raps and stuff on it? Is he on something?
The Big Sean's on one of the
One of the ones, yeah.
he's on the Walking album, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere on there, but I don't know.
Okay, well,
Well,
speaking
fuck
of
Tony and fuck Tots.
speaking of walking,
She doesn't even like Die Hard.
speaking of
She didn't even like Die Hard, man.
speaking of walking, how
She couldn't watch Die
Head-
Hard. Who doesn't know how to
Head's
watch
try-
Die
Head's
Hard?
trying to
How do
avoid
you
the
need
next
to try to watch
question.
Die Hard?
Head's trying to avoid the
How
next
do you try
question.
to watch Die Hard and you fail?
Dog,
Who
she
fails
won't.
at
She
watching
won't like
Hard?
Die Hard. That's it. She fell asleep during it.
How do you watch?
The first thing,
do
and
you
I
watch
gotta
eight
give it to her though
Tremors?
too, because she started calling
But
it
you
like the
can't watch
second
Die Hard.
she loved Tremors. Like she got a Tremors T-shirt. But no, Die
like,
Hard,
I'm
man. Right in the
Patrick, I'm on
beginning,
Tremors
he
8.
goes running out the room, and she says, "That motherfucker forgot his shoes." How stupid is he? He forgot his shoes. And I'm like, damn, she called that shit. Like, I don't want to give the away movie and tell her, like,
Yeah.
damn, you're right. That becomes a big part of the movie. Like, but she called that shit right away. She's like, you got to run away. You take your shoes, stupid. I was like, fuck, dude. And then she fell asleep 30 minutes into it. And I was like, all right, she's never going to watch this again. She hated it. Like, she likes every movie that Bruce Willis is in, but she hates Bruce Willis and she hates Die Hard.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
the case.
what about other action movies? Is she just not an action person?
She didn't used to be into action movies, but I'm an all-around guy. Same like music.
Yeah.
I'm very all over the place with my shit, So movies too. I'll watch anything with her. She never liked action movies, but these days she's getting more into it. I think she's seeing that a lot of people that are in movies that she does like are in these other movies, so she's able to relate to them. And a lot of Bruce Willis movies are like that, where it's like a bunch of people, like Quentin Tarantino movies. She loves Quentin Tarantino, but she hates Bruce Willis. But Bruce Willis is in like fucking 5 or 6
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino movies, and fucking great ones too. Pulp Fiction, shit, dude. So yeah, it's funny how she has. I think she has a tough time with the Bruce Willis guy in particular. Like, I don't know. She can't wrap her head around it either. She's like, but I like him, but I hate him. But I like him, but I hate him.
Well, Die Hard is some of the most ridiculous action stuff too. So if you're not into that kind of stuff, it's
Yeah,
pretty
no.
insane,
90s action stuff, not her thing. I think nowadays type stuff, she could probably get into a little more because some of the effects and stuff are better. You know what I mean? They're more graphic, they're more detailed. There's all the CG stuff, and it's more relatable. Whereas back then, you had to have, I guess, I don't want to say a little more imagination, but it was just slower. You know what I mean? It was like you wait, and then there's this big fucking explosion. And back in the 90s, you got excited about that shit because you knew they actually blew some shit up. Like you were saying with Tremors, it wasn't CG. It was, a lot of this shit actually happened. And I want to say the Die Hard was probably a lot like that because it was made a long fucking time ago. If there was something blowing up in that movie, it probably wasn't a lot of CG. It was probably a fucking stunt double and an explosion.
The director, dude, he's an old school director. Like, so I mean, they had.
So he was stoked to blow some shit up.
When you were talking about like him not, I mean, you ask Head, like, him and I, we were pretty big Die Hard fans. You know what I mean? We watched that a couple thousand times. But when they're busting that glass, they used to use that candy glass, and that's how it shatters like that, but it won't cut you, But I mean, they would just explode. I mean, you saw those window panes, and just pop, 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 pop.
I know that I saw something that when they started doing the filming at that building, half of it was still being rented out and being used for for offices.
Oh shit!
So they said that that these people starting around 5, 6 o'clock, there's explosions going off on the roof.
That's
Literally,
crazy.
They're letting explosions off, running around, shooting fake guns off.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people in the building are like, "What the fuck? What the fuck is happening?" Because there were people and things blowing up on the roof of the building.
That's funny. I bet they were pissed.
While they're
that was smart of those building
closing
people, though.
deals or whatever.
Well, dude, and
'Cause
back,
that's such
and
a
back
famous
then,
movie.
yeah,
Insurance
there
people,
was
you know?
there was no like, oh, let's send a tweet out and let everybody know we'll be filming at whatever, and they can
Right.
look it up. I mean, there was none of that. So I mean, yeah, no, the way the old movies were made, man, it kind of goes back to Tony, like you said about the old music. There's a certain respect, right? And
Yeah.
it just is always going to be there.
Yeah.
All right, Head. What's
Yeah,
our
that's funny.
Head? What's our recommendation for this week? And then I want to push the promo for next week's episode of what we're gonna do, and give a little teaser.
So I actually could do like what are you guys feeling like? I almost kind of have like options.
I think
if you have some
Tony wants.
options.
I think Tony wants more poetry. I think.
Why don't we go with like a movie or
Since he's the
a
only one that listened to it, fuck you, Paul.
movie?
Head,
Yeah,
Do you
right.
think Tony? What?
He knows all the fucking high tech
Yeah,
stuff. He
well, I
can
was just gonna say,
tell you
let's
how
do,
to
like,
hook up
a movie or
18
a
cameras,
series.
fly a drone through a blowhole,
And
but
let's
doesn't
make sure
know how to
that-
open up YouTube.
Let's make sure
Hey,
that Paul
listen, I'm
has
kinda
whatever it
glad
is
I
you want
missed
him to
this
watch
Play
it
this
on.
album.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I missed this one after Tony's review. I don't think I missed it. I think I'll go back and listen to the Walking album again.
I think Paul actually probably would have liked
You
it.
know.
You might have liked it more than me. Yeah.
Tony, Head,
Yeah.
what I was going to say is, do you think Tony would like that Sound City documentary? The one that Dave Grohl did, and it has all, where all the gold records were made, and it has all the old bands and old music.
Probably not.
We should do,
Tony doesn't.
Tony
care.
doesn't like
I
that
don't
kind of
hate Dave
stuff?
He needs
Grohl.
something weird. No, I don't know.
I thought maybe he'd
He
like
doesn't
it.
He's just mad at me because I don't like
yeah.
his boy fucking
And he doesn't want to do any old stuff.
doodly fucking walk across the earth, whatever the fuck his name was. What
It's
was
funny
his
because
name?
Head, he
Fucking
wants
Mike
to get he
Posner.
wants to give these recommendations, Tony, but he gets mad at us when we try to recommend old stuff. That's his problem.
Mike
Yeah.
fucking poser, fucking.
You know what I mean? He tries.
Went
He
to
gets
Yale
mad. Well, Head,
University,
listen. This
fucking-
is
Never heard that.
This is your
I'm sure he never heard that one.
Head.
Tony.
This is your section. This is your section. So,
How am I supposed to take Mike Posner seriously? Like
All right,
whatever.
so I'm just gonna go for it. You ready
Okay,
for this one?
let's do it.
Yeah.
Your next assignment, and Paul, you better actually.
I'm
fucking do
right.
this one.
Listen, I looked for the last one. Yeah. I thought
No,
you
you
were
got away
drunk.
with it just because you agreed with Head. That's why he's not
I
giving
thought
you
Head
shit.
would, I even put it in the notes. I said, I think
You're like,
Head's
I agree
drunk.
with you. I agree with you. He's
You
like,
know.
okay, I won't fuck with you. I at least listened. He just hates me because I actually listened and realized how shitty it is.
Listen, if you go into the Google, if you go into the
I'm gonna
Google
double down
notes
on
here,
this next one because Tony keeps talking.
if you go into the Google notes here, you'll see it says Head was drunk. This record doesn't exist. I even wrote it in here. So I just thought you didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, oh well, he messed that one up. He was drunk at that point. So okay, so this is your chance to redeem yourself, like on Dumb and Dumber, right? You have the 2 pairs of gloves.
I'm doubling down.
Okay.
I'm doubling down, and I'm going with a rom-com.
Oh my goodness. Okay. What?
It happens to be a French movie as well.
Okay.
So you're either gonna have to
Okay. I like that.
fucking
I'm not a
read
big
some
fan of the
subtitles
French, man.
and or switch the audio over and and have them translate it in somebody else's voice. This next movie that I would like for you to watch, I believe about an hour and a half long, is called Love Me If You Dare.
Oh, I think I maybe own this movie.
I've never heard of it. Where's it at? Where can I watch it?
I believe I just saw it recently on one of the streaming platforms.
Well,
So I
what
believe it's,
fucking platform?
I don't know, but if you need to buy it, go and buy it or rent it.
It has
and
the.
watch it.
Does it have the two?
Be
Does it
a
have the
good
2 people
time.
on the front, like like silhouettes or something?
Love Me As You Dare?
It's a guy and a girl, and it's the guy from the beach, Paul. I think back in the day I told you to watch this.
Yeah.
From
The
that
guy from
that movie, The Beach?
that Leonardo
Yeah.
met, and the guy has like the hot girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Francois!
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Francois's boyfriend.
What a good fucking movie.
He's in this movie.
Okay. I like it
Francois
already.
Francois's boyfriend. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. But it's a love movie, and Tots, I hope, will like it if she stays awake.
She might. That guy's good looking, and he's fucking foreign too. So she'll be all into it. She'll be like, "Oh, he's sexy. I'll watch this."
Well, this is definitely foreign, and it's definitely very like I think Paul will like it because it's very visually captivating. It's almost like that other guy that we like that does the kidding show or kind
I don't know about that.
Gotry or whatever, yeah.
What's his name? Michel Gondry.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that where they do like weird dream sequences where there's like stuff like you could tell they're like created like crafts and they'd like hand make stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get a point across or to get like a flying sequence instead of like paying the money to do a flying. You know, I don't know. It's very. I'm doubling down on this one. It's like, oh, you thought that shit was, lame? Here we go.
It means he's torturing you. He's doubled
Now you
up.
gotta watch a French love movie.
Well, as long as it's not some kid from fucking Harvard trying to sing Justin Timberlake fucking songs to me.
All right, so listen. So for next week's episode,
So mad. You're so mad, Hedrick.
So for next week's episode, Tony, I need you to write a few things in here in this Google Doc. But what my idea was, and Head and Tony think I'm crazy, but I think it'll make for some good content, and so we don't just keep talking about Mike Posner and the Cho Show, and we've talked about certain things about 20 million times here. So I thought it'd make for some new content. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the next 3 episodes.
It's a good thing half of them were.
We're going to take the next 3 episodes. Yeah, we referred it was deleted. We're going to take the next 3 episodes, and we're going to each spend an episode basically interviewing one another. Like, I don't know Tony very well outside of just, hanging a few times and through my brother, and probably same thing, the other way around. And I think it'd be fun to take a little bit of time and ask questions. Like, Tony, I'm interested, like, how you met Head, why you guys decided to move in together, what you thought of each other, and I think that'll be fun to get to know you guys and kind of, how you live together and that kind of whole story. And then me also tell some stories, Tony, of Head growing up. And if you have any questions on that front as well, childhood and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought it'd be kind of fun and maybe
questions.
just something different to kind of break up the media stuff that we always talk about. But we'll make sure we have Head's recommendation at the end of every episode so we don't miss out on that.
So you don't end up missing out on all the good stuff in life.
Exactly. We'll make sure we always are providing the next hip thing, the next Britney Spears, the next NSYNC, the next Justin, all the next boy band stuff, right, Tony?
Right?
Yep.
You can always depend on Head to show you some real peculiar stuff. Again, he's introduced me to some stuff that I think a lot of people will be like, "You're a pussy for listening to that." I'm like, I don't care. I like it. My buddy Head showed it to me, but there's definitely some other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, man, this gets too weird for me. Like, I love you, Head, but you are too open to everything. So it makes you a good guy.
I'm upset with you now.
I know. You're mad that I don't like Mike Posner. I'm gonna call him Mike
you were here so I
Poser.
could throw my fucking airheads at my fucking Dole juice I didn't fucking drink at you.
I would just
I would
keep
throw
them
right at you.
and I would steal all your airheads and eat them, like I have in the past.
I would throw my Dole juice at that stupid microphone of yours. Fucking knock it right off its stand. I would laugh. Just like you'd laughed when you pushed me in a jacuzzi with my phone.
I'll never feel bad about that. Well, I like this. I like the idea of that. So we're gonna start with Hedrick next week.
Yeah, we'll start with that. See that whatever you just said right there about pushing in with the phone. Do you see what I'm saying? Like nobody even knows that story, and I'd love to hear it.
I'll tell you
that's
about
what we'll
that.
do is we'll go through and
I still don't feel bad.
Paul, let me just tell you that story real quick. He's like, "Hey, come check this out, blah, blah, blah. This is where the jacuzzi is." And then pushed me right in the jacuzzi.
Well, listen, that's what
His
That's the
phone
story. He's
was
a
already
dick,
all
and then my phone was
cracked
already
and
all
fucking
fucked
broken,
up.
and it disrupted him using it and actually functioning. So I did him a favor, and I immediately told him afterwards when he was upset that I
And
don't
my phone,
feel
my
bad.
wallet in my pocket.
And like 9 or 10 years later, I still don't fucking feel bad. And his phone's so
still
shitty
holding the
right now,
grudge.
and his whole voice thing when he's trying to talk to you on the phone. I wish I can catch him next
My
to
phone
another
was better back
jacuzzi,
then.
and I would fucking drop kick you into a jacuzzi again, just so that you'd have to get a new phone, and I can actually hear you when I'm talking to you.
Yeah, but
Fuck your
see,
phone.
this is what I think. This is what I think will be fun because I think it's interesting that I don't. Once again, Tony, I don't know you that well, but I kind of feel like if two people could have found one another that are perfect for each other, you guys are perfect for one another. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you
He's
guys
my-
have
my
this
flame
similar
twin, man. He's my flame twin.
way of thinking of things, and I'm just saying I think it's very cool that two of those type of people happen to just find each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's unique about it.
I do love you, brother, man.
You know what I mean? I
I love
know.
him.
And I just
I
mean
hate
you
Mike
guys have a
Posner.
similar, like the pushing and the pull thing. You guys kind of have a same view on it, is what I'm saying. Like most people, dude, if you did that to somebody, sometimes there'd be people that would be like, "What the," and they'd be all butthurt all night. There'd probably be somebody that would call the police on you.
Like for 10 years, yeah.
You know?
Like for 10 years, yeah. Exactly.
And so,
Hey man, my next poetry album is gonna be Tony shoved me in a pool
Okay.
on a very, 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 very cold day in Las Vegas.
You are deliberately forgetting who you really are.